Hi there everyone, my name is Sukaina and I am going to show you how to create a simple sketch. We are going to be creating this sketch right here. I thought that we could create something that reminds us of our travels since we are all inside, so I thought this would be a great first sketch. So the materials you're going to need to create this sketch is some type of a circular object that you can trace around and a smaller circle. Okay, unless you're comfortable drawing freehand circles, then that's fine, but you can go ahead and find something in your home that will help you, that will act as a guide to creating a perfect circle for your drawing. The other material you're going to need is a pencil. So this can be a regular HB pencil, or if you are familiar with sketching and drawing, it can be a B or a 6B. So ideally what you want is a pencil with, if it's an HB, then you want a higher grade, softer, with softer, I guess what is called lead, that'll create more of a dark shade. So if you only have one pencil, that's fine. So just pay attention to the pressure that you're going to be putting on your drawing when you're shading. So of course, lighter a shade, light pressure, darker the color, darker, heavier you will be on the pressure. Okay, then you'll need a blending stick. Okay, so for individuals who don't have a blending stick, you can use a Q-tip. Okay, and this soft edge will be used to blend in and smudge some areas of your drawing. If you are familiar with drawing, then you can use the blending stick that you get from the art store. Okay, so these are the materials you'll need. 2 circle shapes acting as guides, pencil, 1 pencil is fine, a blending tool, so that could be a Q-tip or an actual blending tool. Okay, and of course you're going to need a sketchbook or some type of paper. So let's begin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to trace this circle. Okay. And once I have my circle, what I'm going to do is I am going to kind of eyeball the middle of the circle, okay, which I feel is over here. And I'm going to create a very faint line towards the right side of the circle. So very faint, not very dark. Remember, light pressure. Okay, so you can kind of just see the lines very slightly. Okay, it doesn't have to go all the way towards the left. You can just leave it like so. Now you're going to take the smaller circle, okay, and you're going to go towards the halfway point. So I don't know if you can see it, but basically half the circle, because we're trying to create a sunset. So the circle won't be a full circle over the horizon line, it'll be half a circle, okay? Or a little bit more than half, if that's what you like to do. Okay, oops. So, of course, another material you'll need is an eraser. Oops, sorry about that. So you just erase any areas that you need. There we go. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is 2 palm trees. Okay, one going by the left side of the sunset and the other one crossing over. So we will start with one of them. So we'll go to the left side of your circle and not directly underneath your sun. It's going to be towards the left, okay? And you're just going to faintly sketch a line going upwards. Okay, and a slight curve towards the sun. Okay, so very slight. So because these are palm trees, they have a bit of a stem, so a wider stem, which you will connect. Okay. There you go. Now you're going to be drawing the other palm tree's branch, and this is going to start maybe a few centimeters on the right of the first palm tree, and we're just going to let it cross over like that. And this one's going to be a taller palm tree, so it's going to hover right over the first tree, just like that. Okay, so looking at the first tree, we can create some coconuts, so perhaps 3 would be good. So 3 circles, and then we're going to create the leaves. So when we're creating the leaves, you're going to be making, what you can do is make a line going out towards the coconut. Okay, and then you're going to create some wisps. So you're going to be following along the stem, okay, and just making some wisps, wispy strokes. Okay, so when you're making wispy strokes, you're going to be putting pressure on the stem and then letting go. Okay, but they're controlled, so you're not creating larger strokes, very small strokes. Okay, and you create another, same concept. So these can be going in the other direction, the opposite direction. So again, remember, following the stem, pressure along the stem, and then you're just kind of letting it go. Okay. So you can make them fuller, less full, it's up to you. I like to create some fuller leaves in my palm trees. Alright, and then when you're done, you can just kind of darken those coconuts, and then just darken one side of your palm tree, the branch, stem. And then you're going to do the same thing with the second palm tree, okay? You can extend it a little longer if you like. And I'm drawing it a little darker so that it's easier for you to see. Okay, and again, remember, you're creating that stem as a guideline, and then along that stem you're making those wispy strokes. And then you can add a few coconuts if you like at the end and darken darken the balm tree going all the way down. Okay. Sorry about that. And then what you're going to do is we are going to create another tree, a set of trees on the right hand side of your piece. And these are going to be less fuller trees. So we're going to kind of start on the right side of the sun, maybe a few centimeters below the horizon line. And you're going to go upwards. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a Y. Okay. So Y here, Y there. There you go. You have a Y, right? And then you're going to create your branches. So we're going to look at the left side of the Y. And in the middle, we're going to create a small little curved line going upwards. And we're going to add a small little branch here. And we're going to add a few branches on this larger branch here and let it extend going upwards. And then in the middle of the Y, we're going to also extend another branch and let it go upwards. Create another branch going through. And this one we're going to split it as well, adding another branch going upwards. A few more branches along this larger branch over here. And then same thing with the other side. Okay. And then we'll just darken the trunk of this tree, at least one side of the tree, because when you add some dark values, your piece tends to look less flat. Okay, so beside this tree we're going to replicate another one, but a smaller version. Okay, a few centimeters away, maybe a little bit higher. Again, you can start with a Y. It's okay if it overlaps onto the other tree. And you're going to add some branches. There we go. And add a few more. So it depends if you want it to be a fuller branch or not, okay? And then just one more very rough tree going upwards again. This one can have a few branches, a little bit lighter because it's further away. And then you can add some grass, so that's literally just small, you're going to make small triangles, but not connected. Okay, so that could be grass, even V's, you can make V's. Just to suggest a grassy field. There we go. Now what we want to do is we want to create a line to divide these two areas. So you will, along the horizon line, maybe go across towards the left side by 1 centimeter, and you're going to create some a faint line, squiggly lines. Okay, just like that. Okay, I'll go a little darker so you can see. There we go. Okay, and then we can also add some rocks, so you can have a rock, 3 sets of rocks, so 1 rock sitting on top of 2 rocks. Okay. Alright, and now here is where a bit of the shading comes along. So what we're going to do is we want to create a glow around the sun. So you're going to take your pencil, you're going to create a lot of pressure, and you're going to go along the line of the sun and maybe 1/2 centimeter wide, okay? Shade a ring, a dark ring, 1/2 centimeter wide around the sun. Take your time. You can always pause the video if I'm going too fast for you. Hit pause and then play when you catch up. Okay, so once you have that little ring, you can take your Q-tip, if you don't have a blending stick, and go over the dark pencil mark that you made around your sun. Do you see how it's kind of creating this blended ring around the sun? See? That looks awesome. So that's the rays of the sun, because it's super hot in this picture. There we go. Good job. All right, and then we're going to create some birds. So we're going to be creating a small, almost like a small little triangle again, and overlap the triangle just a little bit. So we will do 3 of these. So you can do one here, a smaller one up on the top, and maybe one towards the side. But you can choose to put the birds wherever you please. And now what we're going to do is we are going to look at the reflection, creating the reflection of the water. And so when you're creating the reflection of the water, that requires you to create pressure, okay, to create dark strokes, so that you're able to see the reflection, the light going downwards off the horizon line towards the bottom. Okay, so how we're going to do that is we can start from the left side. So make sure if your line is not across, you're going to create the horizon line all the way across. Okay, and then you're going to hold your pencil at like a 45-degree angle so that the lead is sitting on top of the paper. Okay, so not with the point, but so that this lead is sitting flat against the paper. Okay, and then you can hold the pencil like this, okay, with the thumb at the side, and you can start at the horizon line on the left side of your paper, okay, and you can create a dark stroke, okay, and then on the other side you can draw another darker stroke right there so that it's meeting almost at the middle but not quite. You don't want it to touch, okay? And we're going to continue making those lines. So remember, we're going to be pressing and creating pressure because we want some darker strokes. Okay, it's okay if there's some gaps in between. They don't have to be connected per se. You want to give the illusion of a reflection of the sun on the water. Okay, and if you go out of the circle, that's okay. You can always erase it later. There you go. So you want to try to go in one direction if you can. See? And this is like a mid-tone, so we want to add some darker tones just to give the piece more definition. So you see how I'm kind of overlapping and I'm creating darker tones towards the left, and I'm going all the way down. If you're not comfortable doing it this way, you can even just do strokes going all the way down. Okay, like that, or you can go all the way down. Now if you see your trees seem to be disappearing, then we will have to go over them afterwards. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how the left side of this picture is turning out. And remember, you want, for a good reflection, you want to see these line strokes towards the middle of your page, okay? There we go. Now, same thing over here on this side. You are going to create a darker shade towards the left side and lighter going towards the middle. See? So darker strokes and lighter towards the middle. So what you can do is put pressure on the line and control strokes towards the middle. Okay. And remember, 45-degree angle. And if you feel like you just don't want to do the strokes, you want to just kind of scribble and connect your strokes with pressure, you can do that like I'm doing here. But as you go towards the middle of your reflection, you want to lighten the pressure, okay? See, so I'm going all the way down lightly, so I'm doing a medium tone. There we go. And then towards the land, I'm going to create some darker tones. Okay. Just to give it some depth. Because if we don't add these values, then essentially our drawing looks very flat. So you want to make sure you add these values, the dark, medium, tone, and the light. Okay. So there we go. Okay, we're almost done, guys. So if you feel, again, remember, if your palm tree seems to be fading, don't be scared to go darker and go over those lines so that you can see them. If you feel like you need a darker pencil, you can also use a pen or even a darker marker. That's fine as well. Okay, there we go. All right, so remember that smudging tool we used? I want you to bring that back, okay? And what you're going to do is, see this whiter area? I want you to kind of smudge alongside this whiter area, just very lightly, to add a few smudges just along this area to give it some definition as well. Okay, and then when you're around this area, the left side, you can also do a few smudging. Just if you go out of the circle, that's fine. You can always remember erase. And then what I want you to do is, see the rocks? So I want you to create a small little smudge on the top of each rock, just like that. Okay. Go. Maybe a few shadows, maybe at the bottom. There you go. And then I want you to kind of look back at your piece and see, okay, where can I add some darker values just to make some areas that may look faint pop. So I'm deciding to add a few darker tones in the grass. So again, I'm going to be making those, you could call them little teepees or inverted V's, or even some grassy strokes, darker strokes. There we go. You can even darken your branches. There you go. Darken the leaves here if you feel it's necessary. And then what I would ask you to do is clean up your smudging. Sometimes what happens is when you're working with pencil, you get these little smudging marks on your hand. So it's always nice to have an eraser on hand so you can just erase away any of those smudging marks. And you can always fix. This part as well. Okay guys, so that's it. There's your tropical paradise drawing. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully there will be more to come. Alright guys, take care. Bye-bye.